Hey everyone, check it out. This road right here obviously hasn't been used in a bit, and it's in very bad shape. Look at the culvert right here. It looks like they just used an excavator to get down to the pipe. Amazingly, they didn't hit it. That culvert is still working. Doing some work right here. But wow, look what happened to this road. I haven't driven up this road in about a year, but it wasn't super active. You can see there was grass growing in it before it just completely washed out. But wow, it's like a riverbed now, the whole road. We're gonna take a little walk up here just because this is super interesting. To maybe put some perspective in, I'm gonna walk down inside here. This is about even with my waist, so 3 feet, and right here looks like even a little more. Haven't been here in a bit, so I'd estimate this happened maybe in the past month or two. The way it kind of collapsed, a little bit of grass started growing on it again. So, ooh, a snake. That. Anyways, something like this happens a lot of times because the drainage ditch is completely filled in. We can't even see the actual drainage ditch. So the water starts going down the middle of the road where people driving have made it the lower spot just from weight of vehicles. There's little sunken spots where the tires are. And the rain can't get to the drainage ditch, so it just keeps digging that out deeper and deeper. And sometimes it's from the grader, pushes over everything as they make the road smoother, which ends up making a little bit of a curb, preventing the water from getting to the ditch, or just maybe a decade of neglect. Like if we look over here, look for this drainage ditch. Yeah, there's nothing in there. And the way these rocks are, water was way up here, even out of this crevice. Wow, look at this big hole. Little waterfalls digging. So keep collapsing, taking more with it. You can see all the numerous holes where rocks have been falling out. The damage up here is not as bad. Today's been drizzling, a little bit of rain, but the fact that this is still flowing makes me think an entire riverbed up here has washed out. So basically a river that would be going under the road, the culvert got plugged, so it eroded and now it's taken the road. Let's see. We'll walk this a few minutes and see if we can find something like that. This is gonna take them a while to fix it, but I think they're gonna fix it. Oh wow, this goes and goes. Thankfully we're in the middle of nowhere. Haven't passed a vehicle all day. Shouldn't have left the keys in the truck. That's okay. Right here was likely all underwater. So the same floods that caused this damage here in Maine are the same events that caused all the major flooding in July 2024, like in Vermont and stuff. Now floods like this out on logging roads, a lot of times these roads go down so easily because they're dirt roads. They can wash out super easily The dirt road isn't being held together like the surrounding forest, which has trees. So this is the easiest path. Now in a place like this in the middle of the woods, you can't really blame it on increased watershed. Like a lot of cities, as time goes on, flooding gets worse and worse over time because they're replacing which was once all forest with rooftops, parking lots, driveways, sidewalks, things that can't retain it. When it rains in the forest, the ground soaks it up like a sponge and slowly releases it into the streams and creeks. In the city, it all just washes off roofs, sidewalks, into the rivers all at once. That's why the more things you build, the worse flooding is. And that's why any new commercial buildings, housing complexes, parking lots, any building with a big roof, by building code now requires a retention pond. A pond with a small drain at the bottom of it, which is usually empty. During a rainstorm, as water goes down parking lot and roof drains of a flat roof, it enters the retention pond at a high speed, filling up because it can't fit down the little drain. And then that little drain slowly releases it into the local rivers over the course of the next day or a couple of hours instead of all at once, to prevent flooding and such. A lot of retention ponds I've seen are usually full because it's clogged up. I think they need to create some laws mandating they have annual inspections on retention ponds. I've seen so many of them that don't even function, or they're clogged up and it just goes over the overflow all at once. And it's like, what's the point? It's the same thing. Yep. There's a little bit more erosion if we zoom up there, but yeah, that's what I thought it would be. Here's a culvert where all the water is supposed to be coming out. We look over here. Culvert is sort of plugged up. Wish I brought my tripod, but we'll try to do something by hand. Maybe we can prevent some of this water from going down there. So this drainage ditch is working until it wasn't, forcing out into the road. This water, we can't really get rid of it. They just got to make a scoop with an excavator to get that back into the normal river ditch. This little trickle we can probably get to stop, but they got a lot of work here to do. Yeah, look how far down in this pipe it's pouring. There's debris blocking, which might be a 3-foot pipe. Whoa. We'll try to get what we can. I think we can definitely get the water that's not fitting to get in here. You see, as I'm pulling things apart, you can hear water eroding the little pebbles and stuff that have built against this dam. Whoop. Pulling out more. Here's one of the big ones. Let's get this guy out of here. Wow, we're doing this thing one-handed in like a minute. So look at that, that's a whole tree stump right here. So all it took was during a big flash flood, all these sticks jammed here in the entrance of the pipe, brought down with the current, and then all this sand, sediment got stuck against it. This will all erode. And look, nothing else is going down the road right there. So less water going down to the damaged area. Hopefully this pipe here stays open for a while. You know, there could be more debris sitting inside the sediment as it gets eroded, but Look at that. Pretty clear. Looks like we got everything blocking it out of there. And look at that, quickly eroding. Look at that, just dropped by 2 feet. This is always satisfying to watch it erode, so we're gonna, keep an eye on this for a couple of minutes before we go back down to the vehicle. This is always fun watching erosion. I don't know if you can tell the depth from this angle. It's like a foot of sand. Let's watch it erode a little more and take it through the pipe. See the angle it's coming in here, it should be going directly in there. It should be able to erode everything there. It's been there for maybe a month or so, like I said. Look at the grass is starting to grow there. At least these big rocks here will keep it angled toward the pipe. It's a bigger pipe than I expected. It looks like maybe a 3-foot diameter in there. Fun to watch the sand. Let's stomp on it. Boom! Maybe we can dig a little canal with my foot. Just like when you play at the beach, if you make a little canal connecting a tide pool to the ocean, it'll quickly dig it bigger. Look at all that slop. That's honestly eroding faster. This might stop. Sun's coming out. It's nice. Boom. Erosion is a satisfying thing to watch. If no more sticks come down, the next big storm will get all this. Now look at the waterfall in there. That's it pouring back in from the road. That erosion I zoomed in on, it's coming in the road and back to the ditch. This was fun. I didn't expect to find a clog like that up here that I was able to do by hand. It's that little waterfall. It's all coming from up the road. Looks like it's even crossing there. Here it is. Oh, actually, we got a stream going to the pipe that's permanent and the little waterfall. Good. Is this another little stream, or is it still actively crossing here? Nothing's actively crossing at the moment. This is actually staying in the ditch further up, but this was all underwater at some point. That little bit of water crossing there is in the ditch, and that's what's coming back out and crossing because the ditch isn't dug enough. You got bear poop. There's bears out here, see? They're great at spreading raspberries. That's raspberry seeds in there. See all the sediment there? Wow, this would have been cool to see this thing as a full-blown raging river. And when I walk back down here to the end of this road, more bear poop. No, maybe not that one. That may have been coyote. It's got gray hair in it. All right. Going a lot better than it was before. Nice. No water going down the road there. Just this tiny little bit of trickle. Running a little dirty because it's still eroding. The end of the pipe is kind of down in the sediment. When they come in here with an excavator, hopefully they dredge a little bit of that. So now there's less water coming down here. We probably got rid of 3/4 of the water coming down here. When you stop the flow like that, it takes a little while to catch up. Just like when you open a flood, it doesn't get downstream as fast as you think. Lots of little pockets in the river fill up and retain it. So oftentimes if you unclog a culvert and it creates a gigantic gush at the exiting end, half a mile downstream, we've had videos where we go down and we wait for the current to show up. Sometimes it takes an hour to get the smallest distance. And all you notice downstream is maybe the stream will rise by a couple of inches because it just retains it so much. And when we unclog a culvert, usually what's built up isn't that much. A lot of times when we unclog something, the flow rate is back to normal within 10-20 minutes. And at that point, the flow never gets downstream unless it's one of those blockages where it's gushing all night because a beaver has created a whole lake or something. But when it's not beaver related and floods cause all the debris to get into the pipe like that, it usually doesn't hold up too much, especially in these areas with lots of mountains like this. There's just no flat areas where a lake like that could actually happen. A beaver dam would have to be so big, and a blockage like that, the elevation just doesn't allow a pond to get behind it. Around here's all mountains. I don't know if we can notice this flowing any less or not, but definitely is a little bit. What am I seeing down here? Are we already back to the main road? No, we're not. We got another corner up here. This is good exercise. I like a hike like this. Maybe they'll have this thing fixed in a couple of months, but they're still prioritizing the main arteries. These side roads that they don't use for logging all the time are maintained, they are fixed, but it's not a priority until scheduled logging actually takes place. And if it's one of those very temporary roads, it'll never get fixed. But this is not a very temporary road, like the ones they only fix up to use for a month, then they don't touch it for 40 years. It's not like that. This was drivable a couple of months ago. These kind of roads I typically don't travel on because they don't have what we're looking for. The more mountainous logging roads, it's just not a good area for beavers, and unless a torrential downpour like this happens, which isn't too common, you don't usually see things like this. Alright, we're back down to the road. I see their big pile of fill where they're gonna start fixing things. And here's the biggest crater. I just had to get out and look at this. It's not unstable. It's not that kind of ground. If it was dry out, it'd be probably more unstable. Alright, we're almost back down to the road. Usually I make videos like this for my vlog channel when we're just out and about, but I'll put this on my main channel. We did find something interesting up there. All right. So last summer there was also some torrential downpours, and this bridge here washed out twice last year. You could tell right here they recently fixed it. This was completely washed out from everything coming down that road. And this bridge that they replaced twice last year looks to be crooked when I ran over it, so I just want to look at the supports underneath. If you remember last summer, a couple of occasions I had to drive the truck through here because it was the only way to access these roads. It was closed for literal months. The road was in such bad shape. My vehicle was able to get through this last year, but this year, no. It either eroded deeper, or I'm thinking they excavated it deeper to channel more water to the bridge. Maybe make the water go through it faster, because you can fit more water if it's traveling faster. You can see that's like a 4-foot wall now. You're not going to drive any type of vehicle up that anymore. But last year I drove through this twice with the car, and just taking a look, the bridge is very noticeably crooked compared to when they put it in, but can we visually see anything unsafe? Yeah, a couple of those concrete blocks right there are getting eroded, and you see it's actually coming out. It's not unsafe at the moment, but it'll probably get worse with time. But it's still a very strong bridge. All right, everyone, back in the truck. All right, everyone. I hope this video was interesting. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Fix this one. Those are actually my ribbons right there that I put up. See the orange ones with the little flags hanging? I actually put those up there to alert people of the issue.